basically, this is your releases page. It's going to have a list basically of all the assets that we are essentially done with, or at least are the ones that we're going to be working with, like for, you know, like for example, for the next semester. So it's what's the working version, I guess you would call it. But most of the time we use it for when we're done with something and it's up and we're not going to touch it again. So for example, we've got like on Finney, there's all these things you can see, and this is kind of, I'm a, look dev and lighting, more CG side. So for compers, I imagine it would be different, but
Mm.
you can see we've got, models, rigs, textures, environment, all this stuff is like the current working version. Um, and the point of this basically is to have like a paper trail on our lab and on shotgrid for where these files are living. Because a lot of times between semesters, you'll have an artist picking up on where somebody left off, and it's like, oh, where is that? We lost that, this and that. So this is a good place to track all that. But one thing Derek would certainly want me to make clear here is you don't want to touch this at all, basically, unless you have go ahead from an instructor. Because, well, because of the nature of this being, this is where completed stuff is going, we really don't want to like mess with it too much, if you know what I mean. So really don't even worry about this page mostly unless you have, full authorization from like a teacher or a lead or, um, you know, anyone with the authority to say go for it. So yeah, anyway, let's try making one. You're gonna hit, well, first of all, project, right? You're in your project, go to releases tab, hit add release here. And then this is basically, I guess before we do that, each one of these you'll see has like a different layout here. It's kind of different for every project. It's mostly the same, but you'll see that they're in different orders. So like this one's got release name, status, artist, path to file, and this one's just got like a different order, right? But it's all basically the same stuff. Um, and when you're going through making a new release, you're gonna hit add release, and then you're gonna type in all these fields here. So the name is always going to be the name of the Maya or nuke file, right? So it's like pretty much exactly. For example, I was going to use I'm working on this rover asset, so I'll just pretend to make a release here. So I've got my asset, right? I'm going here, and the latest version, we'll just say this is the completed one. I'm going to take the name of the Maya file. So this one does not follow naming extension, but ignore that. And you're gonna put it in here. So the lunar rover, UDIM, and then what was it? I guess it would be version, or okay, fine, I'll go look at it. Sorry.
Mhm.
Text, yes. Text v14, and that would be .ma. You always put the, oh, well, I overread it, but okay. So you're always going to put the extension in as well.
Mhm.
Then it'll be type. This one is a prop texture, or no, I guess it would be, what would it be? Yeah, prop texture. But if you're unsure, go here to your assets page or wherever, I guess it would be shots page for compers. Um, and you'll just find, see under here, it says prop. So this is a prop and it'll be a prop texture. So then you're going to link to the asset or shot. So whatever that is, this is the lunar rover asset. So it'll just type it in, it'll come up. You hit that in there. Artists take credit for your work, obviously. So that's me. Path to file. Now this is the important one. You're gonna put the path. I'm not on our lab right now, but it would always look something like, uh, you know, 180 net one. In fact, let's just look at a different one, for example. It would always look something like this.
Mhm.
Um, and just the link to exactly the.
Mhm.
All right, and then what else we got? Caches. This one, I guess I'm not overly familiar with, but if your shot has like an animation cache with it, you would put the link to that there. I think this one says it has one here. So it would be the name of the file. Um, and then I just removed my progress, but I don't want to save it anyway, so that's fine. Tickets you can generally ignore, but if you happen to have like a ticket assigned to this asset, you can put that in here. And then of course, second most important thing, you upload the file wherever it lives. Project's obvious, and then you hit create release. And that's pretty much that. But I guess one thing you'd want to just do right at the end after you've made it is just go through and make sure it just matches the other ones, because each of these pages can be somewhat different. You can kind of tell from these
Mhm.
different tabs. And you just want to make sure it matches the rest of them as closely as possible. That'll be just the standard for whatever project you're working on. So yeah, I guess that's about it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah. So path to the file and then the file. So if I'm completing a match move shot, I would upload my what? Like, oh, you know what? I for completing a match move, you upload the camera, right? The
Uh,
the FBX.
You're going to upload the FBX, and if you created a Maya file, you would upload the Maya file as well.
Okay. Would I upload the synthesize file? No.
No, you don't have to. It's the correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. The release is just for the whoever the next artist is receiving it. Correct.
that's right. Yeah, whoever the
So
next artist receiving it, or if it's like between steps in the pipeline, maybe. So if I have the completed rig for an asset, say, and it's going into look dev, then it would get put on releases because it's done, and we don't want anyone to touch it because it's like moved on to the next stage, essentially.
Okay.
For compositing, I'm not really sure. You guys might have to kind of translate for me in terms of compositing, how that would work. But if you want to like walk through real quick how you do one for compositing, you kind of have to
Well,
let me know there.
no, it's the same thing. You had the right. It's basically the same thing. So um, what we are handing off, Lachey, when we do a match move release is the FBX file and the Maya file. Um,
Okay, sorry, I think I cut out there a little bit. I don't know if that was just me or
no, I
everyone
think
yeah,
else, but
that was Davis.
yeah, my bad. Um,
that's all me.
um, what did I say? What you're for just a match move release, we are just giving the FBX file and the Maya file.
Yeah. Okay. So the FBX contains a ground plane and the camera.
It's going contain the camera. It's not always a ground plane. It's just whatever CG. It's whatever you made. That's what the FBX contains.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Do we have questions? Any more questions?
Yeah, does it make sense to everyone?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you're really just filling out a form, but again, I mean, I guess the one clarification is just be careful when you're using these because you never know. Something might get confused or you upload the wrong file and it's like, oh, somebody's gonna work with that. So just double check you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with from a lead or an instructor every time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely artists who are completing these releases inform your lead after you completed it so that we'll be able to double check it.
And before, I would say too, just let them know before I'm going to do this.